What did you like about it? I like that I could choose my own business, something I'm passionate about, and it just made it a lot more fun.
So I enjoyed choosing, I guess, yeah, any business I felt that I wanted to research. I thought it was great that I could have a wide range of businesses I could go and research. I thought it was also good that I chose a large business. I chose Nike for my business report, and I felt like that I get a lot of information on them because they're a well-established business who have released a lot of I guess information to the public, and they're like a good company in how they're achieved a lot in their time, and they've got a good amount of sales.
I think I enjoyed the researching of the assessment. It was just really interesting to learn about a company and all the different structures in the company, as well as looking at the income statements and also figuring out the minor details that the company doesn't really tell you. Kind of having to figure it out for yourself and try to learn about them. It's really interesting.
I really liked the assessment because my company was really interesting, and there wasn't a definitive word limit. So as long as you stayed relevant to the task, you could put as much information as you wanted. You can go as in depth as you wanted. So I found it really enjoyable because my company was really interesting. So I just kept researching, and I kept finding more and more information that I was then able to apply.
Firstly, what I liked about the assessment, I'm very passionate about business, and I thought it was really interesting to be able to research a company that I've been interested in and kind of the way it works, because when you're just only using products, you tend to just use the product the way it's advertised. But when you go deeper into the way the business works, you see how it's run, the management, what they have to worry about, and it becomes a lot more interesting.
The hardest thing I found about writing my own business report was actually just fitting it in to the guidelines, because I wanted to write stuff that didn't really fit into the guidelines, and I kind of got marked down on that, which wasn't too good. So stick to the guidelines.
I found that my executive summary needed to be a little bit longer. I felt that it was probably better if I'd time managed a bit better and taken it, I guess, a bit more seriously. I felt that Mrs. Sassine did a good job of, I guess, explaining the assessment task, and just to, I guess, listen up in class would probably been, a bit better thing to do. Also to, I guess, just have a fluent understanding of it all, and read the textbook a lot, and I guess just relate always back to the textbook, not necessarily to real life scenarios, as you don't want to get caught out because the syllabus is what I guess we're assessed on at the end of the day.
There wasn't anything that I didn't really enjoy about it. I mean, I think it would have been nice if we could have actually presented our work towards an audience or to people, but other than that, I enjoyed it.
What I didn't like about the business is, because it was our first ever business assessment, I didn't really know much going into it, so there was a lot of research required to kind of understand the different terms and go beyond a regular kind of consumer level. But once you get past that, you can write a kind of really detailed business report, and you gain a lot of skills for it.
What would I tell myself if I went back? I would tell myself that I should probably expand more on the point and not be so concise. It helps a lot. It helps a lot because I lost a lot of marks for that.
Okay, so some advice I'd give you, not necessarily me, because I did this, would be choose a large business. I believe that it's a lot easier to go and research and form your business report if there is a lot of information that you can study. I feel that again, just time manage well, and don't leave it last minute. It's it's a bit of a dilemma which occurs often, but it's good to get in good habits now, so you can I guess continue them through year 12 and the rest of your life, and uni and that. Yeah.
I think the piece of advice that I'd give to them is, throughout business studies, make sure that you write sophisticatedly. Constantly always making sure that your reports flow really nicely and sound professional, because you are marked on that, and I noticed that that's where I was lacking in the beginning.
Make sure that you find your company interesting. pick one that's big so that there is information on it, and then make sure it's one that you're personally interested in, because there's millions of companies out there. There's Google, there's Spotify, but maybe like there's a lot of information about them. A lot of them are interesting, but they may not be. The technical details may not be completely interesting to you. And if you are familiar with the company and what it produces, then you can honestly get a lot of really good information.
And if I had any advice for when I could go back, I would definitely say just to choose a business that you're not only interested in, but involved in every day. Because if you say like you use like an iPhone and you're involved with Apple in your everyday life, if you do a company like that, going into the assessment, you already know a lot about the company. So it makes it a lot easier to go deeper and do the research if you already have the basics down. So that's what I would say.